This is my first video presentation of any kind of video that I have ever made. So this is for my artistic inspiration project for the mid-Renaissance class for Dr. Vaccaro. I chose to do three paintings that show my interest in my own personal art, and we were required to choose an item that is on view at some museum during the 1400s, had to be dated then, and so I chose the Madonna and Child with Saints Joseph, Elizabeth, and John the Baptist. So I have always wanted to do a work, or some kind of a work, artistic work, painting or something related to the topic of the halo, and so this was a perfect inspiration piece for me to use, and I will now show you my works and then explain the inspiration behind and try and tie this all together for my presentation on my artistic work for my museum project for this class. Okay, so this painting that I'm holding up, this picture, is the painting by Andrea Mantegna. And now I'm going to show my first painting of the three that I completed. I work in an abstract expressionism, sort of I guess if you wanted to describe my own personal painting and works. And I typically break rules and use non-traditional paints, acrylics that don't cost as much and let me have a lot more freedom and control. And something I'm really interested in that is my own color palette, which I do use these kind of mid-saturated chartreuse, cornflower, and kind of a neon magenta type hues. And so in modern art, there's something called a color pour that's used a lot. That's a popular thing right now. And this is sort of a derivative expression of that, having all the colors sort of as though they're just happening instantaneously, as though they were just poured. And I was interested in doing the concept of the halo in some form, of course, abstract and not directly representational, but then I used mixed medium of the cross motifs, being that this is, of course, a painting and a topic of Mary and the halo. And so this is gilded kind of with a gold paint it's a little bit hard to see even as I turn it. There we go, a little bit more. You can see sort of the impact of the halo idea. And so I used that. This is my first painting. My second painting was a darker, more green. It's showing a little bit more blue. Thank you, Samsung. And this is again expressionist idea, with Pax being the Latin from the Catholic. Since this is on the spiritual topic and the Catholic religion, and the painting is, of course, of this theme, and the spirit and the dove being as the spirit, the Holy Spirit, I thought it would be a very poignant and just kind of more expressionism of how I feel about this topic. And so then let me show the third one, and then I'll explain kind of a little more of the detail and background from where I got the inspiration. And this is a little darker, if you want to call it, representation of the third piece. As I did my museum project and did the article research, I read the life bio from the Metropolitan Museum of Art art bulletin on Andrea Mantegna, and learned about his style and his more macabre compositions like the Saint Sebastian Martyr, and like similar to the Pier della Francesca Resurrection of Christ. He has Resurrection of Christ, where he has the same foot position and different other things that are really amazing. It's sort of cinched up, and it seems like this project has kind of gone with the topic instead of choosing some, museum project piece that was totally non-related to what we've been learning about and discussing. I feel that this particular artist and his topics and compositions are right along with what we've been learning about. So I really enjoyed and got a lot of inspiration. And this piece, the last piece, is just a little darker, a little bit more, I guess, expressionist, and a little less, super positive type abstract expressionist piece. And so I hope this has explained. Oh, and from the painting directly, there are very fine halos represented over Elizabeth, Jesus, and of course Mary. And they're very hard to see, almost impossible on a print. And at the museum, the painting is just about that difficult the same way, just as difficult to see where the gilded halo used to be, representations used to be. So that is where I got my inspiration and how I decided to create this. And I hope that this hasn't been too painful and has been a little bit explanatory of my own artistic endeavor. And thank you very much. Thanks, Dr. Ferraro. Thank you. Bye-bye.